Take a moment and close your eyes and think about what image comes to mind when you think of God. First image comes to your mind. You can open your eyes. Hello, I'm Myron Krys, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about the images of God, especially the classic image of God, and how that can impact our sense of self and well-being and our self-image. Today we're talking about a topic that might be a little offensive to people, but that's great, because if it's offensive to you, that means it's bringing up some things for you, and you can begin to process and wonder and wrestle with the feelings and try to figure out why it is bringing up such emotions for you. So as we begin, I posed the question, what does God look like to you? What does God look like to you? For me, as I thought about it in my life growing up, no one ever verbalized this. No one said this image, but this is what came to mind as I began to first think about a Santa Claus type of God, a God that was white, a God that sat on a white throne and had on a white robe, and God that was white in every way, a God that was heterosexual, a God that was a cisgender male. And this was the image that I saw in my head. I didn't think about it, I didn't question it. That was just the image that I had for God. But then as I've gone through seminary and I began to question and wrestle with things, I began to see that there might be some issues with that image of God. Yes, the Bible constantly says that God uses that father language, that masculine language for God. Even Jesus himself says, our Father, teaches his disciples to say, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed will be thy name. And this is the God that I serve. This is the God that I envision. Yet, this is also the God that I was trying to be like. The God that we're made in the image of, but also trying to ascribe to work our way into becoming like. And that's very problematic, because if you are not white, if you're not heterosexual, if you're not cisgender male, then that ultimately says that you are not good enough, that you will never be, no matter how hard you try to be like this image, you will just never measure up. And then it also glorifies that masculine, white, heterosexual image. So it puts that on the pedestal more than anything else. I remember back years ago when the book first came out. I don't know if it first came out, but when it came out, The Shack. And I strongly took offense to that book because it had God as a woman. And not just any woman, but in my mind, Aunt Jemima. And as I began to wrestle with that thing, it's like, this is just unacceptable. One, because my God is perfect. My God is all powerful. My God is a white, heterosexual, cisgender male. You see how even subliminally these things are programmed into us to glorify the white cisgender male. But if we take the Bible literally, God is not necessarily that at all. Well, maybe, but God is also more like that deadbeat father. You know, that father that goes and impregnates this young girl, this virgin girl to be exact, and then goes away and leaves some other man to raise his child, and talks to his son every now and again, and even sends a gift like a dove saying, "You're my son, I love you," but is out of the picture for all intents and purposes. If we look at the Bible literally, that is the God that we serve. Many of you will definitely take offense to that because, again, God is perfect. Another a professor was talking about how years ago, when he was younger, I guess it was Jet or Ebony, one of those magazines, that it was the first time that he saw Jesus as a black man. And he wasn't a theologian or anything else, but when his mom got home, he said he told his mom, "They have gone too far now. How dare you make Jesus, the Son of God, a black man?" What does that bring up for you? Can you ever be whole? Can you ever be perfect if you're always trying to line up and to be like this white, cisgender, heterosexual male? That's the question that I want you to wrestle with today. I want you to think about this. What is my God? Who is my God? How do I describe my God? When I think about God, what do I think of? And not only what do I think of, but what are the issues with that? And even if you are a white, heterosexual, cisgender male, what does that say to you in this age that we live in, where white, heterosexual men are vying for power and they're feeling threatened? They could say, "But God is like me, and I am like God, and I am all powerful." What are the issues that come into play? What are the pride and the different things that come into play, even if you are a white, cisgender, heterosexual male and you view God like that? So 2 questions I want you to think about as I leave. I already said them. How do you view God? And how does that impact your life? How does that impact the way you see life? How does that impact the way you see yourself when you look in the mirror at a brown face, or at a feminine face, or at a person that's the LGBTQ? As I go back to that analogy about Aunt Jemima, as I think about it, in my life, God has been more like Aunt Jemima than the cisgender heterosexual male. Because when we don't look at God as, if we limit God to the masculine, to the father figure, then we miss out on a whole range of attributes. We miss out on the femininity of God, the ideas and the creativity and the ability to handle multiple things all at one time. We minimize the ability of the women to be able to be nurturing and to care for children and be able to get stuff done. There's a lot of attributes to men that women don't have, and it's just such a richness to women that we miss out on if we fail to see God as a mother. And even so, as we begin to think about, oh, dare I say it, God as a gay, God as a lesbian, what are the attributes that we can gather from if we begin to see God even outside of the heterosexual? Now we know God is not necessarily a sexual being, But yet we still ascribe certain attributes to this God. And what is ascribing those attributes to your God mean or show what you validate or who you validate? I don't have any answers for you because it's not about me. It's not about my thoughts. It's about what you think, what feelings you bring. And you might never tell anyone your answers to those questions, but I encourage you to at least think about it and wrestle with it. What is my God? The image of my God saying to me? And if I'm trying to be like that God, is it attainable? Or is it telling me that you'll never be good enough? That you can work and work, but you still, at the end of the day, will still be less than perfect. That's all I got. If you care to leave comments in the comments below, whether good or negative, whatever you want to leave, I just want to hear from you. And to also see what's coming up for you. How are you being challenged? Are you being challenged? Are you on board? Can you see God as a woman? Can you see God as a homosexual, as a transgender male? Can you see God outside of the norm and still be okay? Whatever comments you have, leave it below. I would love to be in conversation with you and to see how we can grow together as we learn, even in our theology, how we can begin to say, I love me. Till next time, be blessed.